Alright, so for both morning and night chores, we come inside the barn and we check off the tasks with our initials. We do that at the top. And then for each animal, we're going to have different tasks that we're checking off. And they vary from daily to weekly. So we're looking at cats right now, and for daily, it says play and observe with each cat. And we do that to keep them from going feral, and so that way we can work with them when we need. And of course, filling up their water and adding feed. And then there's more weekly chores, such as recording their body conditioning score, or cleaning out the water, or brushing their fur. Just kind of like heavy maintenance every week. Alright, so now we're looking at the chicken, the layer checklist. And we're going to have a little bit more chores for them. It's opening and closing the pop holes, collecting eggs, filling up their water, adding feed, recording the high and low temperatures. That sometimes we do that and sometimes we don't. More so usually during the wintertime we'll record temperatures. And then of course we try to always record fence voltage, make sure it's not grounding out, and we're reading a charge. So this is all for accountability. And then so for weekly we also have cleaning out the water, mucking out the bedding and adding new, then sprinkling diatomaceous earth in the nests, and then moving the house and fence, which is more seasonal, often throughout the spring to the fall. And alright, so that was accountability, and moving on to the next sheet is the performance. And then we record how many hens that we see, so we don't lose any or have any die without being recorded. And then we record how many eggs we pick up, and if you do have mortality you can check it off right there. And then when we come and feed them, we record the weight, whether it's grain, which is going to be the corn, or the HPC in the next column. Right now we're looking at the cattle checklist, and of course at the top again we'll put our initials right there. And then we have daily chores such as filling up the water trough, checking the salt block or the mineral feed, of course measuring the fence voltage, and then reporting any problems if you see that. And then weekly chores, which would be throughout the spring and fall again, is moving the electric tape and moving them to a new paddock, and then cleaning out the water trough when needed. Alright, so now that we're going to be measuring out feed, we come over to the scale and we put the bucket on, but it records the weight of the bucket, so we need to tare it. And you just press the button that says press tare, and we come over, we get some corn, and we just read off whatever amount we see there and record on that checklist that we just went over under net weight. Alright, so right now we're looking at the oyster shell and the grit. The oyster shell is usually always in a brown bag, and since we don't have to add that much to each house, we usually just use a little measuring cup or any kind of cup that you find around. But of course, that's the oyster shell again, which is completely white. It's a little bit finer than the grit is, and that's for calcium deposits on the shell, so they don't break as easily. And then, as you see over here, is the grit, which is for the chickens, so they eat it, and it goes into the gizzard and it breaks down the food for them to digest. And we try to always fill them up. It usually ends up being a weekly chore. So, but every time you go out there, just make sure that it's up to level. Thank you for watching our video on animal task lists and feeding here at the ASU Sustainable Development Farm. Please subscribe to our channel for more videos.